Hey, what's going on, guys? The Horror Man back, and I just got done watching Three from Hell. It's time to stop hating on Rob Zombie. Seriously, it is. It's long overdue. I have personally always been a fan, but I am tired of hearing others just simply crap all over his films. I don't understand it. You either like his style or you don't. Fair enough. That's just how it is. But like I always say, just because you don't like something doesn't mean it's bad. I will be talking briefly about each of Rob Zombie's films in this video, with the exception of The Haunted World of El Superbisto, simply because I do not own that film and I've never seen it. And also, it's animated. Not that there's anything wrong with animated films, like I said, I just don't own it. Also, I will not be giving a full review of Three from Hell, just because everyone else seems to be doing that. So I don't want to overload YouTube with reviews of Three from Hell. If you've watched any of my past ranking videos, then you'll know that I start at the bottom, with my least favorite film in a franchise or list of whatever it is that I'm ranking. In this case, Rob Zombie's films. And of course, as always, remember, this is just my opinion. You do not have to agree. Just be respectful in the comments. And so, here we go. My ranking of the Rob Zombie films. This may come as a surprise to some of you, but my least favorite Rob Zombie film is his remake of Halloween. Now, I don't hate it. I actually really loved this movie when I first saw it. I saw it at the drive-in, then I saw it again at the cinema, and then of course I bought it first day it was released on DVD and Blu-ray. For some reason though, this is a movie that I sort of lose interest in the more and more I see it. I love it, as I said. I think it's a good remake. It's definitely a Rob Zombie style film. A lot of people don't like that. They felt that Halloween shouldn't have been touched, shouldn't have been remade, but that's the case with a lot of horror movies and movies in general. I like that Rob put his own spin on it. It's definitely in a Rob Zombie universe, and you have to watch it that way. I know some people complain about the backstory, but who cares? I mean, we sort of got a backstory in the original franchise. A lot of people didn't like when it was first announced that Michael and Laurie were brother and sister in the original Halloween 2. But they got over it. So Rob Zombie just sort of delves deeper into that. Again, in his own way, in his universe. I thought Malcolm McDowell was great as Loomis. Of course, he's not Donald Pleasance, but we weren't going to get another Donald Pleasance. So again, that has to be kept in mind when watching this film. Overall, I think Rob Zombie's Halloween was a fantastic remake. I just tend to like his other films a bit more. And that includes Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Next on my list. Before I go any further, I should probably mention I obviously know there are different versions of Rob Zombie's Halloween and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And I own all of them, including the rare work print version of Rob Zombie's Halloween. However, for this ranking, I'm simply going to lump them together. So, Halloween is Halloween, Halloween 2 is Halloween 2. If you prefer the theatrical cut or director's cut, that's up to you. But for this video, I'm simply going to keep them together as one film. So yeah, I prefer Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 over his remake, and this again is probably a shock to some of you. This one sort of had the opposite effect on me than the remake. When I first saw it, I was not impressed. In fact, I was highly disappointed, probably because I loved the remake so much. However, the more I watched this one, the more I enjoyed it, and now I absolutely love it, more than Rob Zombie's remake. People hate the white horse. I say, get over it. Again, this is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. It's Rob Zombie's universe. It's a different film, a different sequel. You can't look at it as any other Halloween sequel. This is not going to be like Halloween 4 or 5 or 6 or H2O. This is a sequel to Rob Zombie's Halloween. The other movies don't exist in this universe. It's okay for Michael to see delusions because it's Rob Zombie's world. And it's okay for Michael to talk, because he talked through most of the first movie. Rob Zombie's, I mean. Honestly, I'll never understand the hate for that, because he screams, "Die" in the director's cut. Again, who cares? Sometimes some of you horror fans can be so pretentious, and I say that as the horror man, a huge horror fan myself. but my God, people. Michael Myers isn't supposed to talk. Says who? Says you? You remake it then. If you don't like it, don't watch it. I personally love it, so I will continue to watch it over and over each year. I love the brutal kills in this one, I love Tyler Mane as Michael, and I love Laurie's storyline, as she gradually falls into this psychosis. How could you blame her, though, after all she went through? And yes, she's annoying, but she's supposed to be annoying. I also absolutely love Malcolm McDowell's portrayal of Loomis in this one especially. He's such a dick, but it's so funny. On a side note, Rob Zombie also agrees and prefers Halloween 2 to his remake. Next up for me would be The Lords of Salem. Now this is another one that gets a lot of grief. I know a lot of people claim they think it's too slow, they think it's boring. I was actually talking about it earlier with my buddies Jason and Brad says he finds this one to be boring. I can see it. I definitely understand, but I love it. It's supposed to be moody and atmospheric. It succeeded in being what it was intended to be. I compared it to The House of the Devil, if you guys have seen that. And Jason also compared it to The Innkeepers. It's meant to be a slow burn. This one is all about setting an atmosphere. It gets it right. It's a throwback to 70s style horror, witch films like Season of the Witch by George Romero. If you haven't seen that one, I would definitely suggest it if you like The Lords of Salem. That's another movie people consider to be slow or boring, while others love it. Some people just prefer non-stop action, and I can't argue with that. I love that as well, but every now and then I get in the mood for a moody film, like The Lords of Salem. Next up seems to be the movie that everyone loves even when they don't love Rob Zombie films, The Devil's Rejects. I think most people would consider this one to be his masterpiece, and I love it as well, as I love all his films. But you know what, guys? I would actually call this his most overrated movie. Yeah. Okay, I know I'm going to get hate for that, and before you guys stop bashing me, hear me out. It's fantastic. It really is. I mean, it definitely qualifies for masterpiece status. I get it. I do. But I feel people sort of put this one on a pedestal. And then every other Rob Zombie film just gets bashed because it doesn't compare to this one in their minds. I guess that sort of makes this the Citizen Kane of Rob Zombie films. You know, The Devil's Rejects is to Rob Zombie what Citizen Kane was to Orson Welles. But some people let their love of The Devil's Rejects prevent them from enjoying other Rob Zombie movies. Why is that? Especially when there are 3 more films Rob Zombie directed even better. In my opinion, anyway. And those 3 include 3 from Hell, which I now consider to be my number 3 favorite Rob Zombie film. And yes, I know I just watched it once, and just watched it less than an hour ago. But I loved it. Talk about fast pace. Those of you who don't like The Lords of Salem will surely love 3 from Hell, because this movie clocks in at just under 2 hours, but feels like it was 30 minutes long. It goes by so fast. I actually already want to watch it again. Now, I won't say much more about this one because, as I said at the beginning of this video, I know pretty much everyone else is reviewing this on YouTube, so I'll leave it at that. Let me just say, I highly recommend 3 from Hell. Do not listen to the hate. This movie was awesome. And now, coming in at a very, and I mean very, close second, is 31. And yes, I positioned it like that on purpose. 31 probably gets more hate than any other Rob Zombie film, including The Lords of Salem and even Halloween 2 in some cases. Well, maybe. But I will absolutely never understand, because this right here is a masterpiece. If you like horror movies, that should be all it takes to enjoy 31, especially if you're a slasher fan. 31, to me, is a horror fan's dream. It takes place on Halloween. It has multiple killers, including one of the greatest villains in horror movie history. Yes, that's you, Doomhead. The characters are actually likable, and they don't abuse the typical horror film cliches. They stick together, they fight back. It truly is a macabre masterpiece. Not only is it my second favorite Rob Zombie film, it's my second favorite horror film in the last 20 years. But the number one spot in both of those categories goes to House of a Thousand Corpses, Rob Zombie's very first film, and another true horror masterpiece. I filmed a whole video talking about this one, so I won't go into it again. I said so much, and I could say so much more. I could literally go on and on about this one, 31, and even 3 from Hell. They almost put me in a high after I watched them. That's how much I enjoy them. I'll say it again, it's time to stop hating on Rob Zombie. He is one of the greatest horror directors of our time. And for those of you who continuously say you're sick of seeing his wife in all of his movies, come on, that's a poor excuse. I think she's great. I mean, you really don't want to see more of her? If you had the ability as a director and your wife was an actress, you wouldn't give her the roles? There are plenty of other actors who appear in all of his films, and no one seems to have a problem with them. It is what it is. It's all just my opinion. So guys, what do you think? That's my ranking of the Rob Zombie films. How would you rank his films? Comment below and let me know. And also, what do you guys think of 3 from Hell? Have you seen it? Do you want to see it? What did you think of it? But if you only take one thing out of this video, make it this. C31. Do not listen to the hate. Thanks for watching, guys. Be kind. Subscribe.